Okay, next item is the bus garage. This is one of those items that we can go in lots of different directions to talk about because I think people think of bus garage and, you know, if you drive through any school district, everybody has a little bit of different look on a bus garage. Our goal of the bus garage is to create the same footprint of what we have, a 3-bay bus garage with some office space and upgraded bathrooms. Really nothing fancy around it. Why do we need to do it? Well, there's lots of reasons why work has to be done on the bus garage, and you can see the list of them. So you got the fuel island, the septic and leach system needs to be repaired, actually replaced. Paving needs to be redone. Concrete pads that are in there are that cracked throughout the floors. The original building, which was built in 1930, Frank, I always mess this up. Is it 36 or 34? 36, okay. 1936. And the other building was built in 1990 or so. That's when the approval was in 1990. So there's two buildings together. Really, the 1936 building hasn't had much done to it at all, nor has the 1990 building. So we've got ADA compliance. We've got doors that need to be replaced. There's a lift system. The lift system is end of life, so that needs to be replaced. There's a lot of work that has to be done on the bus garage. So when we started looking at the bus garage about 2 to 3 years ago, it was probably the spring of 16 maybe. We knew that was on our original list of items that needed to be worked on. And so we took a look at those and what do we need to do. And while we're having that discussion, we had some local interest in actually purchasing that property. The local interest are the folks that are right around there. They own both sides of the property. They see that that's useful for their business. So it makes sense that they would want a facility that would really fit for what their business is. So what we looked at was, okay, so if we sold that, obviously we need a bus garage to be able to do maintenance on the buses. Where would we put it? So we looked at actually on our own property, where were their facilities. There's a spot on the Devenus Road that we looked at that had some issues with rock and those kind of things. We said, that's not great. So we said, if we did move it, could we move it closer to our property? And one of the big pieces of the discussion around why would we move it to the property is we use the bus garage as an evacuation facility. So right now, our kids, if we have to evacuate the building, and we do a drill each year, sometimes it's a go home early day because of snow, but we'll send them home. That's considered an evacuation. But we have practiced that our students go to the bus garage, where the bus drivers then can take them home from there. So they either walk all the way down Route 126, or they've taken the back route out to the railroad tracks and down. So those two paths are how we've used the bus garage before. The thought is, if we get that bus garage closer to our property and create an easy access for students to evacuate to that, we can get them to the evacuation facility quicker. And then rather than having the bus drivers go to a location and then in some cases pick them up and move them, they can pick the students right up at that location and deliver them to home, or a secondary evacuation location like the Methodist Church in Beaver Falls we use, and we also use the Beaver Falls Fire Department. So the idea is to use that as an evacuation facility. So where that would go is actually a driveway would come off the Arch Road. As you first turn on the Arch Road, if you're coming from Krogan and you take a left on the Arch Road, it's basically right there. When you turn in, we would purchase the property. So basically the sale of the property would balance out the purchase of a property, and that gives us the facility. So it's often known as the Austin property because Mr. Austin lives there. We've had some preliminary discussion, and it makes sense to do that for them and for us. This is a rendering of a potential look of what the bus garage could look at. There's another rendering of the property on that poster that's in the back. But we would build a driveway off the Arch Road and also an access road from the school to the bus garage for that evacuation route. The bus garage will be about the same size. You see a rendering of a picture of that. This is something we want to make sure is clear. Our plan is not to put our buses inside the bus garage. Okay, why not do that? Okay, what we have found through our research is that when buses are out on the road, out on the state highways, and they get the salt and snow, if you put them inside the garage, just like your car, that snow begins to melt, and it starts to eat away at the buses themselves, so you start to have that corrosion take place. So if we keep them outside, we have not had a problem starting them. Even on the coldest day in record this past year, we were able to get them started. Really with no problem. So we're not looking at making a huge bus garage. It's really basically about the same footprint as what we've talked about so far. Any questions on the bus garage?
How many buses do you service at any one time? How many buses are in the pool of buses you have? How many do you own?
So we have bus. I'll let you, because there's a way to describe it better than I can do. So
there's 15, 14 bus routes, regular bus routes. So there's those 14 buses, 4 or 5 spare buses depending on the year. So 20 to 21 buses in the fleet.
yep. And typically we have 21, and our rotation schedule is 7 years for a bus, and we do 3 buses a year. It's pretty much how we, you see that when you go out to vote for the bond for those buses. We look at 3 and we rotate them. Those extra buses are used because we have not just the runs that go home, but then you got the runs for athletics and other trips that might be taking place during the day. So if those aren't back in time for the bus runs, we've got the runs to be able to take the kids home. So, any other questions?
What was the cost of this project?
This piece is estimated at $5 million. That includes the building of the garage, the work on the land, as well as what's called incidental costs that go along with that. So when I pull that up, those numbers include incidental costs, which are legal fees, professional fees, testing that we have to do. Any work that is outside of 10 feet of the building falls under incidental costs. So we could break that out, but usually that's about 20% of what the cost of actual construction is. So, yep, this is a significant portion of it. That calculation came from architectural journals based upon our area, our location, and the accepted square foot cost of actually a maintenance garage is what it's used for. So.
I just have a question.
Sure.
So if we have the bus garage on our property, so that means all the machinery that's typically used is also going to be able to be stored there. Lawnmowers, plows, all that other.
Our hope is to be able to get that stored in that area as well. Yep.
So that would give longer life for those.
Yeah, because right now there's a Kubota and a couple tractors that sit out by our building on our campus right now. So rather than drive them up to the bus garage every day, we store them there to have access. And this would give us that access road to be able to continue to plow it in the winter, but at the same time store those pieces of equipment. So, anybody else have anything to add to the bus garage? No?
That little black top piece that's jutting out to the left.
Yep.
Is that the spot that's going to connect that blacktop to the school? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that would connect. That's that 12-foot wide access road that we would plow all winter long. So that's our evacuation route, but also our access to the bus garage.
Is that like right behind the elementary area?
Yeah, so the elementary playground on the blacktop there, that would connect and go along the fence. So.
Yep. Said this is estimated at $5
Mm-hmm.
million. Is that taking into new consideration, especially what happened to our county with the price of steel?
Yeah, so this is calculated based on the inflation costs. I took a look at that pretty closely, that the county situation. Much bigger building, but different purpose. So that building was about a $6 million. Now it's about $6 million construction costs. This being $5 million, it's only about the calculated cost of this The size of it is basically about a third of what they're talking about for the size of that building. So I'm still feeling quite comfortable around that number, because even they've given some room for that escalation in costs.
My concern is, because I do purchasing, is with the tariffs going on
Sure.
right now, it's 25%. We've been getting hammered on everything, and it's all, everything's coming so fast right now.
Yep.
There's no warning.
What's coming? Yeah. Brian and I had.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We got a notice 2 weeks ago, a 10% hike by the 1st of October, and then another 15 1st of January.
25 by January 1st. No.
Yep.
I do a lot of purchasing overseas. And
Yeah, you'll see those tariffs come into place. Yeah. So.
This $5 million is a hefty price tag for a place that really does not have much income, median income. Do you have a plan B and C?
So we have another location. No matter what, building a new facility is going to cost us about this amount of money. We've looked at this location. We've looked at a location on our property. Plan B would be we wouldn't be able to sell the property. We'd have to probably do reconstruction, which is significantly less.
Properties are already purchased?
No. We haven't sold that property or purchased this. We're not going to do anything until the vote. Yeah. So the property that we currently have, we would have to reconstruct that piece. It would probably be Plan B, and we'd have to back up and take a look and see what that cost would be. So, generally speaking, the main reason we looked at that, why we would move the bus garage. One was the safety and evacuation piece. I guess there's three. Two is we had somebody interested in selling the property. And three, knowing that a reconstruction that we would do would probably mean continuous reconstruction. So we would be able to work on that. We'd have to work on that sooner than if we did a new building. And we know from our past voting results, there's been probably 3 or 4 bus garage votes that have come up. Only one has passed. So knowing that if we had reconstruction on our bus garage, that might not pass. So that was another piece of it. Seems like I had one more thought around that. But actually, another thought is the way the bonding works for new facilities versus reconstructed facilities. So a reconstructed facility, you can only bond for 15 years. So if we did $2.5 million of work on reconstruction, probably would land about the same cost, because for a new construction, we can bond it for 30 years. So that cost actually reduces down over an extended period of time for the bus garage. So that was, there's a couple moving parts around there that made sense that this is the best proposal at this point. So.
I just want to comment on that too. As far as it, being on the school property, I know for me, I teach second grade at Big River, and when we do the evacuation drills, I have to worry about all of the children in my class, making sure they are all staying on the sidewalk, making sure they cross the road safely twice to get where we're going. And that would be a huge worry off of my mind if I knew that I'm just going to take them on an access road and I'm going to take them to a newer facility and we're all going to fit inside it and we don't have to worry about who's going to stand outside and who's going to stay in. So that's something to think about too. I know, I understand that we are thinking about money and how much money we're going to spend, but we're also thinking about the best interest of the children in the district. And I think that needs to kind of be just a little bit higher than how much it's going to cost to build a new bus garage. So.
Any other questions on the bus garage? Okay.